How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Hold on. Let me show you my face. How do I do this? Welcome to the stream. I'm going to turn this music down so I can hear myself think. How is everyone doing? Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's great to see everyone in the comments. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who on the Cutting Room server for inviting me to do this, just to come and ramble in front of you guys about some things I'm a bit nerdy about. Yeah, so I don't really know how long I should leave it until some people come in, see some more faces, but it looks like you're all engaged anyway. So, yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Where's everyone from? Where are you coming in from? I'm in the UK, and it was a gorgeous, beautiful, rainy day today. I went for a little mental health walk, decided to go for a walk for my brain, and then got punished for it because it was a rainstorm. It was thunder and lightning today. Hi from Canada. How you doing, Andrea? From India. Good to see you guys. Tejas is not building this with me. No, he's never helped me with anything ever. Yeah, you're right, Hajab. It's just been a bit of a miserable day today. Yeah, so like, if you guys think we're ready to crack on with this, I'm willing to. 2 a.m. in Philippines. Oof. Thank you for tuning in. Well, yeah, today we are going to discuss the 5 core storytelling steps that should help instill some emotion into really any video you make. We're going to be talking specifically about video essays today, but these are, fundamental storytelling steps that will help you with anything. So I'm sure lots of you make your own content, and lots of you edit for other creators. So hopefully this will be useful, even in the slightest, for everyone here. So without further ado, we can tune in. So, my name is Danny. I'm sure some of you know me as Dodford online. I've had the whole film school background. I've been making editing and filmmaking content on TikTok for a little over a year. And from the start, I've been a huge advocate for polished presentations and well-crafted visuals. Hang on, I'm not showing you my stream yet. There we are. Now we can see. Okay. So this is me. And yes, I'm a big advocate for polished presentation and well-crafted visuals. But with that said, please ignore my PowerPoint skills. This is not my forte in the slightest. So hopefully you can forgive me for that. But yeah, so over the past year, I've made about 200 videos with a total of about 25 million views. And since the start, the content has changed quite a lot, but throughout, I've been always focusing on filmmaking and social media content and pop culture, that type of stuff. Really, nowadays, I feel like I can make a short documentary about anything. I made an essay about the color yellow just recently. On the right over here are some of the longer form stuff you might find on my YouTube. If I can move my camera, you see this Corridor Crew that went kind of crazy on YouTube. So all these longer videos, they utilize some of the techniques we'll be talking today. But like I said, these are the storytelling fundamentals. So they all apply to anything that you could possibly make. Yeah, cool. Let's get cracking straight into it then. Thanks for enjoying the yellow video, Dylan. That's cool. So yeah, we all want to tell stories. This is being reiterated a million times by everyone, but we all want to tell stories, whether you really know that or not consciously. We all want attention. We all want attention from people. And so nowadays you can reach the whole world with a little machine in your pocket. It should be easy. But Why should anyone listen to you? Why should we care? What value do you really bring? It's harsh, but what value do you really bring? Well, using your own unique voice it's a superpower, and that's all. It's all well and good, but we're here to talk about video essays, videos about other people, and it can be hard to kind of speak from the heart about other people, but that doesn't mean it can't come from the heart. So today, hopefully, you will learn 5 steps that I frequently use to inject a bit of drama and a bit of emotion into my essays. So they are as follows. You can make notes, guys. Step 1, the catch. Step 2, the subvert. Step 3, the rundown. Step 4, the ramp up. Step 5, the moral. Step 5, the moral. Right, so we'll go in depth with each stage, of course, but I think it's best if we watch a specific example. You might have been wondering what these P's are for, but this is a video I made several months ago. I can't really remember exactly when. That we'll be deconstructing today. We're breaking it down step by step, my entire thought process, and I'm not going to give any context whatsoever. So if you've never seen this, just pretend you're scrolling through on TikTok. And yeah, it's only a minute long, so I'll play it now. Hopefully there aren't any technical issues and you can just watch this. But yeah, let's get on with it.
I don't know about you guys, but these pretty poor be fucking buzzing. Fuck. No, but seriously, who is this guy?
This is Jamie, a Canadian, a fan of Indigenous dancing, and TikTok's newest star. 200 million views later, Jamie's simple bathroom dance has propelled him to the upper echelons of internet fame.
But why?
I'll get to it. Based in Lethbridge, Jamie has been posting for years, including a series of lengthy YouTube vlogs. But his spotlight didn't arrive until this year, when the world finally caught on to Jamie's charm. To be Twitter's main character of the day is a bad thing, but on TikTok, life-changing. You see, Jamie's profile is for everyone. No language barrier, no controversy, just good vibes. He just looks legitimately happy, and that's refreshing. It splits opinion, but here we've got a razor glass for the algorithm. No other platform can shine such a spotlight. I think it's beautiful.
Right, so yeah, most of you will know who that video is about, if you haven't been sitting under a rock. But if not, this man here his name is Jamie. He blew up on TikTok this year. Blowing up is a bit of an understatement. With I think this bathroom dance, last time I checked, it has close to 500 million views. He's had almost 8 million followers in just a couple months. So it's crazy, incomprehensible growth. And I saw this start unraveling on TikTok a few months ago. And, you know, initially the first thought is, wow, that's amazing. But also underneath the surface, the second thought, as we all did, was why? Why the fuck has this guy got crazy growth with all these fans, and why, selfishly, why is it not me? There's a bit of insecurity about that, and that's what triggered the inspiration to delve a bit into Jamie 32 BSH, work out why the whole world is obsessed with him, and see if there's anything we could learn from what he's doing into our own content. So that was my step 0. You know, why him? Why not me? Why does the world love Jamie? But then, of course, the next step is the catch. So everyone knows that on TikTok, on all short form content, you have only a couple seconds, 5 seconds at most, really, to hook people in, to intrigue a viewer. So luckily, if you're familiar with Jamie, you're probably familiar with that trend that I followed. Luckily, there was that prevalent trend going on at the time in which people would stand in their bathroom doing something weird and then tilt the phone up and it would go reveal them in the mirror and it would cut to Jamie. So I knew, naturally, I needed to start my video in the bathroom somehow so I could use the trend that people could see. I needed some sort of into that, so I decided, for some reason, that dropping a bag of frozen peas
I don't know about you guys, but
on the floor
be fucking buzzing.
would be funny and random enough to sort of people like, oh, you know, stop their scroll. Then we we tilt up and it cuts to Jamie. So everyone, it gave the opportunity to cut to Jamie, and everyone who knows who he was understands the trend. So it's an easy way for people who already know that audience. But if not, it's weird in an intriguing way. But of course, you're not always going to have a trend to follow. Sometimes the topic will be public enough that you won't need to anyway. Like, you know, if you're making a video about the Will Smith slap, you could have just had a photo of Will Smith, and people were invested in that at the time enough to stick around. In a recent video of mine, I discussed the history of film crowds, of extras in movies, and my catch was I decided it was going to make it a challenge. It was a video of the largest crowd of extras in a movie ever, and I could have just said this is this many people, make it, you know, a spectacle, but I decided to say instead, have a guess how many people this is. We all naturally want to be right, want to be proven right, and so if you make them guess something at the beginning and then reveal that answer later on, people stick around. You know, people stick around to see if they've been proven right or wrong. Of course, your hook like that, it doesn't need to be random or weird. Sometimes that doesn't really sit well with your topic if you're talking about something a bit more serious. But you're still employing those same techniques of curiosity, something that really touches something inside humans. And the most important part is that the very first 5 seconds has got to say, without saying it, it's got to say, this video is going to show you a side of something that you've never seen before. And we'll see. So then, step 2. Okay, I missed all my points there, but yes, what I'm saying is you haven't seen people drop peas on the floor, but then it leads into the trend, and you think, oh, actually, I have seen this before. But then, of course, step 2. This is super important. You've intrigued your viewer. That's great. That's amazing. The fans of Jamie have already laughed at the trend, and the people with no clue who he is or even who I am have had, you know, at best maybe a confused chuckle. But, and this is really important, like, can't emphasize it enough, they're ready to swipe. They're wanting to move on. They've given you their laugh, given you their attention. They want to move on. So now it's really important to just introduce a new direction. The second I cut back to myself here, sweeping up these peas, it's no longer the standard trend that we've seen from everyone else. Like, at this point, all these trends would start with them in the bathroom, it would cut to Jamie, and the video would end. The second I cut away from that, you're subverting expectations. And then when I go on to say this...
But seriously, who is this guy?
I'm raising more questions there. So, you've subverted expectations. You've indicated where we're going. And the most important part is we've posed a question that we're going to answer. So the next couple seconds here, I decided I was going to make them, as soon as I posed this question, I was going to make them very quick cut. I wanted to recapture that attention.
But seriously, who is this guy?
So yeah, very quick cut. I think my thought process at the time was I wanted to get into costume. I wanted to get into character. I wanted to put my work clothes on, put my tie on, roll my sleeves up, get my hands dirty. I'm the man to answer the question. You know, I'm the man for the job. It's silly, but for some reason that was just my way of visually presenting that, which leads us into the rundown. So this is step 3. After you've posed that question, in step 2, your immediate next protocol immediately is to prove that this question that you've just posed is worth answering. It's one thing posing a question, but the reality is not everyone is going to care about the question. You know, now it's your job to tell them why they should care. So Jamie is just a normal guy. You know, he's just a normal kid in Canada. And the reason I want this to be an important question to answer here is because this could be anyone. This could be us. This could be you. We could be just a random person who gets this catapult to fame. So it's a question that's worth answering for everyone. Right, I think I'll play through this now. I'll raise the volume a touch. The sound's all good for everyone, right? Not too loud.
This is Jamie, a Canadian, a fan of Indigenous dancing, and TikTok's newest star. 200...
Right, so that's step... What's important to note here is that we're already in step 3, and I'm only less than 20 seconds in. So these are very fast. So during the rundown, it's really important that, yes, why is the question worth answering? But also, this information that you're giving here, it has to be digestible for even the clueless, even for people who have no idea who Jamie is, who you are. This has got to be information that can be processed by a grandma. This has got to be just a wide open net, catch as many people as you can. And it's also important that you present this visually as best as you can. So I wanted to include some social pics, social media content from Jamie, because everyone, at this point, everyone on TikTok knew who this man was. He was the most famous person pretty much in the world. Everyone had seen that specific video of him in the bathroom, but all this stuff, you know, him on YouTube, these longer vlogs, that was, there it is. Yeah, this stuff no one had really seen. So it indicates that I've done my research, that there's a bit more to this man that meets the eye, and I'm the person that I'm going to answer that, you know. So it's all important being very visually. Another thing I wanted to show, this is kind of on the nose, but let me find it.
This is Jamie, a Canadian, a fan of Indigenous dancing and TikTok's newest.
So this shot here. Yeah, like I said, it's on the nose. It's just a rising animation of the following, but it's, you know, it's just a great way of showing that his social media presence is erupting. So always try and, I'm only 16 seconds in, and I've only said a few lines, but everything you include visually has to complement what you're saying. So on top of that, using in this stage when I'm giving just this broad rundown of things, it's good to use the rule of 3s. So I've given the audience 3 pieces of information here. He's from Canada, he likes Indigenous dancing, and the most important part that we care about is that he's TikTok's newest star. And that leads into, it's like a funnel. That's the most important part at the very end, and it leads into star. The title screen, TikTok at its glorious best. So what this does great is it's worth including a title screen, but only if you know how to use it to pose another question. You know, this could have been Jamie32BSH, who is Jamie? You know, and I've kind of almost answered that already. I'm going to go in a little bit more depth later on, but TikTok at its glorious best. This is me posing another question, whether it's phrased with a question mark or not. We're now triggering some more curiosity, you know, about whether or not this app has any impact, or why TikTok is the only app that Jamie could blow up on, for example. So there's more questions to answer. And another important stage, things to consider in step 3 is it's important to present this information in conjunction with the topic that you're talking about. So that doesn't really make sense. For example, Jamie, he skyrocketed to fame. He blew up overnight, essentially. So I wanted this description to match that tone, you know, to reflect this eruption. And it's fast.
No, but seriously, who is this guy?
This is Jamie, a Canadian, a fan of Indigenous dancing and TikTok's newest star.
So right, it's not like super insanely fast, but it's quick, it's succinct, and I want it to instill some sort of emotion of awe. It's awe-inspiring. With the music helps with that, using classical orchestral music, you know, iconic tracks. That's usually my go-to because it's familiar, but it also feels awe-inspiring. That's what I'm going for. Which leads us into, so step 4 is super important because it's the main chunk of your video. It's where you'll have most of your main talking points. So dependent on your story, sometimes this is where you need to give lots of information, lots of context, some backstory, some overarching, you know, I want to hear the birth story of the celebrity you're talking about or something. Or it's when you sometimes start delving into a specific moment or event. So if you're talking about Jeff Bezos investing all his money into immortality. Now's the point where I want to hear specifically about the science that's allowing him to do that. If you're talking about camera lenses, now step 4 is the time where I want to see inside one. I want to see inside a camera lens. So here, I'll play it now. My step 4. Yeah, let's just watch it. I'll put the volume up.
200 million views later, Jamie's simple bathroom dance has propelled him to the upper echelons of internet fame.
But why?
I'll get to it. Based in Lethbridge, Jamie has been posting for years, including a series of lengthy YouTube vlogs. But his spotlight didn't arrive until this year, when the world finally caught on to Jamie's charm. To be Twitter's main character of the day is a bad thing, but on TikTok, life-changing.
Right, so here, I give the specifics on Jamie, the success that he's found, the views, the numbers, as well as where he's from, his backstory. And I give the information that most people don't have, that he's actually been doing this for years. He's been doing this for a long time. He's got quite a large catalogue of videos, and he's been bubbling away at it for a long time. So at this point, now is your time to prove why this story is special. Your viewer, they've given you their chance on you. You've got to prove them right for sticking around. They've given you their attention. You've got to prove them right. So at this point, throughout, but this point as well, the visuals are really, really important. They can be really simple. They can be just simple visual decisions. I wanted to, at this point, express Jamie's worldwide attention, all the fans he had across the globe. And so I decided that I was just going to go onto his TikTok, start scrolling through the comments, screen record it, and I used that just...
His simple bathroom dance has propelled him to the upper echelons of internet fame.
But why?
I'll get to it. Based in Lethbridge, Jamie has been posting for years, including a series of lengthy YouTube vlogs. But his spotlight didn't arrive until this year, when the world finally caught on to Jamie's charm.
So right, yeah, these comments, it's a simple decision. It just indicates his never-ending number of fans, this long stream of people who care about him. I also thought that if I specifically showed, where is it? This town in Lethbridge here.
Jamie has been
I wanted to show the map because, again, it's a visual indication that no, he's not. Jamie isn't this worldwide influencer based in LA in some content house or in New York City or in London. He's just in a town in Canada, and I hadn't ever heard of this city before in my life. And again, it's reflecting that first question we had. Who is this man? Why has he found so much success? Where's he from? Can this be me? Can this be me? I'm just from some random town in Alaska, some random, I'm from India. I'm from the Philippines. Can this happen to me as well? So I'm showing that you can. Yeah. It's just some guy in Canada.
Jamie has been posting for years, including a series of lengthy...
Step 4, the ramp up. The clue is in the name. Right now, we are ramping up the intensity. We've had that intro. We've also been told what we're learning. But after a breather, after this title screen...
200 million...
it's hardly a breather. We're getting straight into it. But you need to build up. It's time to build that energy. And I mean, ramp up. You need to start from somewhere low down because... we're building to step 5, and that change from step 4 to step 5, it won't be effective unless we've actually risen from somewhere. So your music at this point, your sound effects, your visual effects, it should all be used in conjunction to raise the intensity. At this point, when you've just come out of the rundown and you've given this broad information, you've got a few seconds to relax. You've got a few seconds to give your information, give some context. You don't have to. There doesn't have to be an urgency to answer a question yet, because you've just posed it, and you've got some people interested. You've got the curiosity. You don't have to answer the question just yet. You want to hold on to that because people want to. You've got to make them earn it. You've got to make the viewer earn the answer to that question. But with that said, we both know that everyone's here for a reason. The question has to be answered, and I'm aware the audience know that. So when I scripted this, I decided that, okay, I'm just going to be completely straight up with it. I'm going to write down in the script that I'm going to break the fourth wall, wherever this is. Here it is. I'm going to break the fourth wall from the viewer's perspective and ask,
of internet fame.
but why?
I'll get to it.
So this is just me straight up like saying, I'm reassuring the audience that I know why you're here. I know why I'm here, but I'm getting to the point. You've just got to trust me just a little bit longer, and I'm going to give you that information without me saying, wait till the end to see the answer. You know, it's a way of really bringing some authenticity, some life into it. But after you've ramped up all that intensity, arguably the most important part, the reason, kind of the whole existence for step 4 is it's there to grow and grow and grow because we're building to your pivotal question. So by now, I've answered my first question. We've kind of described who Jamie is. We know who he is. We know his backstory. But I want to delve a bit further into that. I want to know why we're obsessed. I want to know why TikTok in particular allowed him to shine. It doesn't necessarily need to be phrased like a question at this point. It just needs to pose some curiosity. So for example, I say,
Didn't arrive until this year, when the world finally caught on to Jamie's charm. To be Twitter's main character of the day is a bad thing, but on TikTok, life-changing.
so why is it life-changing on TikTok? That's the question that we're posing. And it's our transition point into step 5. We've risen all that music. It's perfectly aligning. And now we're, okay, I want to know, what's all this mean? We've come into step 5, which brings us to the moral. So you've done great to get this far. This is our final step. You've laid out all the information. You've given the plot. But no story is complete without some reflection. That's what we're here for. We all need a moral of the story. So like I said at the start, this video, it was birthed because it birthed originally from insecurity. I was insecure of my own views, my own popularity. Why can I not be as good as Jamie? Why does the world not love me as Jamie? I was confused by it. So at this point is where I reveal what I've learned. This is me individually. How is this process in making this video and doing the research and forming this thing? What have I learned individually? That, you know, 1, it's okay and natural and normal to feel this way, to compare ourselves to people. It happens. And 2, it's not like Jamie blew up for no reason. That's just completely foolish to even say. So like Jamie, he was offering something the internet just was missing. It didn't have, and that was real authenticity. Some people might not agree with that, but he's truly himself online, and we all like to think that about ourselves, but it's not really the case. We're all kind of always playing a character. So the world latched onto that. We caught onto it, and that's something I learned. But collectively, we learned, and this is where the point I'm trying to make into step 5 is that we can take a leaf out of his book. It should be inspiring looking at him. The world fell in love with Jamie, and the moral is that there's no reason that we can't fall in love with you. There's no reason the world can't fall in love with you. So, yeah. We're also answering the question that we posed in step 4. I will play this now, actually. I realize I've not even shown you. Let's just remind ourselves.
Life-changing. You see, Jamie's profile is for everyone. No language barrier, no controversy, just good vibes. He just looks legitimately happy, and that's refreshing. It splits opinion, but here we've got a razor glass for the algorithm. No other platform can shine such a spotlight. I think it's beautiful.
So yeah, we're also answering the question that we posed in step 4. Why is TikTok different? Why is this really the only app that allows this catapult to fame? And, you know, it's simple. I kind of, in a way, gloss over it. It's the algorithm. It's just the way the app is written. And it's the only app that really shines a spotlight on new faces, like it did for Jamie. And it isn't a long-winded conclusion. You know, I'm not trying to be I say pull the heartstrings here, and I say it's beautiful, but like it doesn't have to be emotionally driven and long-winded. I'm here to, its purpose is to answer the question. I've done that, but the most important part is that you've brought the viewer along for the whole journey. And that's all the 5 steps. So if you try and, with all those steps in mind, another really important thing to always remember is, I feel this way at least, in almost every video essay that you make, you should be striving for feels over facts. And that's kind of broad, and I'm not hating on those did you know TikTok accounts that just list, IMDb trivia on the facts. They obviously find massive popularity, and people, probably have more followers than I do, but how many can you name right now? How many specific facts can you remember, or how many profiles can you remember? Well, on the other hand, to anyone who's ever watched a nerd writer video or anything from Every Frame a Painting, those videos, they resonate with us. You can probably still remember the impact that they had on you. So that's just because they're pushing the feels as well as the facts. And of course, we need the facts to have the feels, that goes without saying, but you should always try to close off with the feels. That's the ending note. Close off with the feels. You're only going to resonate if the story you're telling reflects back onto the viewer. So, to summarize, that's pretty much that. The inspiration for your essay, it should always come from within you. You don't need to know from the beginning that big overarching moral that you're going to explore in step 5 just yet. But if you've got an idea and it just feels right inside, they feel like there's something that it sparks within you, it's really worth exploring. And then immediately after that, the next part is to work out how to spark that curiosity. So you can either confidently lean straight in, like I said, just Will Smith's face straight after the Oscar slap, or halfway point is where I leaned in by using the trend, but I also relied on having a different hook where I dropped the P's. Or you just do something completely random and weird and use the unfamiliar for a bounce board into your step 2. Introduce the video's path. So when you have those people engaged in those opening seconds, you need to tell us, the audience straight away where we're going, what's happening after this. Okay, the hook has me engaged. Tell me what we're about to learn. I want to know my learning objective. Then prove to everyone why they should care. Why should I stick around and learn? Okay, I build to our pivotal moment when we reflect on everything we've learned and deliver that emotional payoff. So it's fairly straightforward. I've completely neglected my tea. That's really annoying. It's cold. So it's fairly straightforward. And to be honest, a lot of the time, this ends up being kind of a subconscious choice. I don't know if I follow this at the forefront of my mind every single time, but I guarantee you follow these steps and your videos will leave much more of a mark on your audience. So yeah, that was roughly that. Took about half an hour. I hope that was kind of useful, guys. I don't really have an ending conclusion slide, but I'll take us all the way back to the beginning. I'll stay here actually, because this is an important slide. Thanks, Cosmin. We can do a little bit of a Q&A. I believe that's what I was told to do. So, yeah, it's a good question, Harjap. These are great for short form. The hook is most important in short form, but all of these, the same steps they have to apply in long form as well. I don't know if like in my Corridor Crew one, I don't know if I specifically followed these steps, but it's overall, you kind of want to follow that 3-step structure where you're building, you give the information, then you expand on it, and then at the end, you kind of branch off that information into the fields, into the lessons that we learned. So yeah, if you can use that, just to make sure to always focus on the feelings, how this has resonated with you, how this has affected the audience. That's a good way to end any essay, regardless of its length. That's how documentaries end. I am not good at Google Slides, Liz. This was kind of rushed together yesterday and today. I think maybe adding some highlights. It's kind of the true crime style, isn't it? That's what everyone likes to do. Can we see one of your scripts? Yes, I might have to look around actually. For music and sounds, I could ramble about music now a lot actually. So music should never come in the post-production process. That's something you write to. I always write to music. Most of my TikToks, to be honest, nowadays and from the past year, I have the song that I want to use, and then the words kind of go around that. And if there aren't words in it, then it's just I'm heightening the words in reflection to the music. So the music should come straight away. I'm not ignoring you, Tejas. Do you ever have an idea that you thought was good but later decided it was bad? What was it and why? It's a good question. I never have bad ideas. I'm kidding. I've started, I think, kind of a video essay that I regret making a little bit was the video on Alec Baldwin. I feel like looking back on it, it didn't really sit well with the rest of my videos at the time, and ended up dividing a lot of people, even though I wasn't really giving that much of an opinion on it. When I made one about Spider-Man No Way Home, I got something wrong in it because it was a theory, and I got thousands of comments. I deleted the comments. I turned them off on TikTok because it was just full of people proving me wrong after the film came out. And then people started emailing me. People started going on my Instagram requesting just to be like, "Ha, you're wrong." So maybe I regret that a little bit. What else? Sounds of music, yeah. Epidemic Sound is great. That's specifically that's where I find pretty much all my and Envato Elements is great for sound effects. I have been thinking about bringing some tutorials back. It's been a while since I made a tutorial. I kind of wanted to leave that behind, but yeah, I think I might find a way to reintroduce that in my 2022 self, in my new way. Do I recommend hopping on trends? As long as it has subversion, of course. It's a good word. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with hopping on trends. One of my biggest inspirations and friends on TikTok is Rosider. He just recently hit 1 million followers, and you guys should check him out. And he has perfected using the TikTok trend, the TikTok sound, but in his own artistic way. He'll use a trend, use a viral trending TikTok sound, but he will most of the time only use a couple of seconds of it, and it would be heavily processed, heavily edited. He'll make it feel like it's coming from his scene. It's very integrated. It's diegetic sound. And that's a great way of incorporating some trends, but still having his full creative storytelling vision. Editors I look up to, Hayden Hillier-Smith, massive influence. Chip Fat for the Sidemen. Names are escaping me, but those two are ones I'm thinking about. How can I be more creative in my editing? Sometimes I don't have ideas to make it more engaging. Yeah, it's difficult. I would suggest not leaving the ideas stage to the editing. It's when you come to the timeline, I like to have all my ideas already in my head. So I'll do a paper edit. I'll show you one right now. Okay. I'm going to expose you to the insides of my Google Drive. Why do we see ghosts? So this is a recent... okay, let me throw... This is my first ever live stream, guys, by the way. I hope it hasn't been a disaster. So this is a recent Dr. Karen video. I edit for him. And as you can see, I do a full paper edit. I get given the script from him and his writer. And then my next stage is I go through, and almost every single line, I'll have an idea for an edit. So when it comes to the timeline, I've already gone through and I've sourced out every single asset, every single piece of B-roll that I need, because I've done all the creative thinking at this stage already. So here, for example, it says, received a distress call from a patient who went by the name of Mrs. H. So I know I need to download a clip of someone picking up an old phone, and then find an image of Mrs. H and cut to her. What's a creative one? Right, so here he's describing a tall, dark-haired woman dressed in all black looming towards her from the end. So I knew I wanted to recreate this visually. So I needed to find an image of an old-looking dining room. I found a silhouette of an old woman, and then, just stitch them together. So what I'm trying to say is do all the thinking beforehand and really focus on only getting your ideas on screen. And then when it comes to the timeline, you've already done all that thinking. So, can you make good money with this type of job? Yeah, you can make good money, and you can make really bad money. It depends on a lot of factors. If you're talking about just being a YouTuber, I don't make any money from YouTube, but I haven't really had the time to put in it. I think maybe if I was making money from YouTube, I'd have more time to put into it, so it's kind of a cycle. But if you, for example, do what we're looking at here on this drive and edit for clients, yeah, there's a lot of money to be made. You just have to really know your worth and don't get stuck around doing the same job for years while you're learning and progressing and your value is increasing, but staying on the same rate. You need to be trying negotiating that all the time. So, do I use After Effects? Yes. I kind of recently, I think I've been using After Effects daily for no more than 6 months. I was a Premiere Pro loyal fanboy for a long time, until I started using After Effects. I discovered the dynamic link, and the dynamic link is just, it's overpowered. It's because you can do so much just swapping in and out. So I recommend learning After Effects if you can. Do I think TikTok will last a long time? Part of me thinks no, like it's something else is just going to overtake it soon, but it's such a, I don't know. It's hard to see it fading away. It might end up becoming like the new Instagram. I don't know. Never use Final Cut. Premiere Pro is the one. Open a gaming channel. I barely have the time to open an editing channel right now, but I would like to get back into games. I used to be a big COD fanboy and Uncharted, Last of Us. So integrate a lot of B-roll and graphics to emphasize what you're saying. Yeah, like Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. It's just good to. Sometimes editors can be too on the nose and be too obvious with their choices, and it's lazy. So it's by using this type of system, by making a paper edit, it allows you to go through those various ideas in your head and filter out the obvious ones, the lazy ones, and then come up with the good ones. And when you get them all here on the side, you can prioritize them. You can decide, okay, which ones do I actually have time for? The cool, funky animations. Thanks, Sean. Hi, Sean. Yeah, that's a difficult one, Cosmin. I felt like I was in the same boat for a long time, and I sometimes do now. You feel burnout for doing the same type of video for the same clients, and you don't get paid very well. So I'd recommend really building as much of an online presence as you can, something to prove your value outside of the work you're doing for your clients. So if you're editing for clients, but that's all the editing that you're doing all day, every day, and you're not really expanding yourself into other styles and other niches, you're not going to really boost your value. You're not going to prove your worth to other people. So if you've got loads of stuff going on independently, if you're doing all this extracurricular work while you're doing the client work, it means you have a bit of an exit strategy. It means if you've got a YouTube channel or a social, an online short form presence, or you're just building show reels, you've got a really strong website. That's an exit strategy. And once you know that you've got your fingers in a lot of pies and you're good at a bunch of different things, that's when you can feel confident. Okay, your value is worth more. And if you want to stick around with those clients, it's worth negotiating. It's worth you saying, "Oh, I could be doing look at me doing all these styles for these other cool styles. I could be doing this for other people." You've got to phrase it nicely, but it's, I could be doing this for other people, so pay me more. Yeah, Sean, do a magic trick. Do you want to co-host? Do I have a list of resources for those looking to learn? Not really, not for After Effects. There's a lot of free stuff. I did make a Premiere Pro course last year that kind of goes through everything for beginners, but to be transparent, I've moved on from that because it doesn't really reflect the editor that I am now, but it is good for beginners. If you're really just starting out Premiere Pro, you can check out my course on dodford.retrieve.com. And this is good for, if you really are new to Premiere Pro, this will give you that beginning help. But nowadays, if you've already got some skills in your tool belt, then just YouTube tutorials. It's where I learned everything. I've never really paid for any education. I didn't get any editing help at film school. So it really is all the best growth you can get just comes from doing it every single day. That's all the practice I've had. I've just done it non-stop, essentially, for 2 years, and I think I've squeezed in 5 or 6 years worth of experience into 1 or 2. Sometimes you feel like you edit too slow. Tips to edit faster. I feel torn about that because, being efficient, especially when you're in a fast-moving client atmosphere, it's good to have quick turnarounds. But ideally, I like people to spend time on their edits. If it's for your own content and you really believe in it, then it's good to, put the extra time in. With that said, the best way I've spoke about this on my own YouTube channel, the best way that you can learn is, one, by doing it every day, but also by finishing that every single day, by making and finishing
with 150 episodes
a new piece of content every single day, then it's going to be super beneficial for you. How many hours do I edit in a day usually? It's tailing down, to be honest. I would say almost every single day last year, it was at least 6 hours. Maybe, this year I've had a couple 12, 14-hour days just being swamped with editing work, and I don't like to do that. So sometimes I'll edit 0. But I think if you don't treat it like a full-time job, then who are you to really try and expect that you're really going to be successful? It has to be. If you want to be the best at what you want to do, it's got to be your soul. You've got to breathe it every single day. I don't think I've perfected anything yet. I don't think I'm really a master. So I'm still learning. I'm still pushing myself every single day. 5 videos for a client a day. Yeah, wow. I've never had a job like that. I've never had to churn out stuff. But I like to think that you're doing slightly different things for each one. I'm trying to learn different techniques. That's a good way of doing it. Would I consider going into a more mainstream UK YouTube? I would like to be friends with Chip Fat, to be honest, just for those ins to the Sidemen one day. I was talking with a Nissan Gib, negotiating with him, but we didn't really find the time to work with each other. But yeah, that would be exciting one day. Tempo. I would like to do that. Well, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really, really appreciate you being here. And once again, I'm glad that I was glad that I got the invitation to do this, and that this first live stream I've ever done has gone okay. I don't think it fucked up at any point, so that's good to hear. Yeah. Just a couple more questions. Anything with Calfreezy and Chip for the Fellas podcast? I listen to them every single week. So unless you're inviting me on, I would like to do that. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Hopefully we can cross paths again sometime soon. It's been great connecting with all of you. Hopefully this went well. Great getting listening to your comments. Harjap, Tejas, Sean, Liz, Matt, Ollie, if you're here. Great talking to all of you. The best thing is that it didn't F up. I'll be honest, I don't know for sure if this is going to be accessible later on. I will. If it goes up on my YouTube, then you'll find it. But yes, thanks for tuning in, guys. I will catch you on the flip side.